is, we have a tyrannical type of governance right now in charge. This team of people that are working in New Mexico, they're supposed to be working for us, and they're not doing that. They're working for themselves. And in order to keep their power and their ability to control us, they're not going to let us survive in any of this. They're not going to help us get ahead or create businesses that are going to be prosperous. They're going to cut us out at the feet every time we turn around and make us think that they're doing the best for New Mexico. And it's not happening. The Secretary of State position, and I know there's about 7 Republicans, and I haven't heard anybody else that's going to run against Michelle Grisham on the Democrat side, which I don't think they will, because she has a lot of money invested in her position to run another 4 years. And unfortunately, right now, we have 7 other people that are trying to run for that seat. And if we don't change the voting in New Mexico, and we don't change the same corrupt politics, we're going to see this type of campaigning all the time, where we don't even see them campaign and they win their elections. I mean, I didn't see Ben Ray Lujan go anywhere. I saw a few signs. I didn't see Michelle Grisham when she ran. She didn't do as much work as she could have, and she still won. But it's, we got to get rid of these machines in New Mexico, especially. We have a small population compared to other states. And yet we spent the most money, $52.3 million on these machines. Why they did that. And this is during the time when Michelle Grisham was in office. They wanted to upgrade their system so that they would continue to stay in control. They are nothing unless they're in control.
I was going to ask more of a Secretary of State question when it comes to cleansing these voter rolls, but let's actually pivot into energy. Yeah. Because there's 2 very disturbing kind of things in our show roundup here about, wanting the hydrogen, fuel hub here for New Mexico, which I find funny, right? Because she has all the environmental crazies and activist groups saying oh no, it's going to require, natural gas and fossil fuels to produce that, which is kind of the primary means of doing so.
Yeah, and all the infrastructure.
Yeah, and all the infrastructure is here to do it. The funny thing about it is, though, aren't we a water poor state? Isn't water one of the chief components you need to split in order to get the hydrogen and stuff like that? I mean, it's folly, right? I mean, the one thing they're hoping that they can use solar and wind to produce hydrogen, which is laughable, right?
It makes sense because if you think about it, even doing our roads, we need diesel. We need the ability to have those type of trucks and everything else that have that power to do that work. We can't do them on solar. We can't even do them on electricity
or batteries. Yeah.
And then the batteries, even if we do solar or any of these other electric cars and all that, what do we do with the batteries? We have huge graveyards in China, where they're just putting these batteries because there's no way of disposing them. We don't have that here in New Mexico. So we're going to have a big old desert full of batteries, lying around. And how is that cleaning up the environment?
It just doesn't. And it's the same old stupidity with all this, where again, they'll say all these things. We need to do this. We need to do that. Well, how did all those batteries get here? Mm-hmm. What powers that? Is there a bunch of solar cargo ships floating around outside of California right now? How do you power those? Last time I checked, that's a lot of diesel engines.
Those things are. Those windmills are huge.
Oh yeah.
What's the cost and how much fuel and fossil fuels are used to make those things, and how do you get rid of them once they're not? What are they doing with those?
I mean, it's even more sinister than that. And the fact of the matter is that battery backup is the main mechanism that they use when the wind doesn't blow, when the sun doesn't shine. Right. So when we talk about the fact that they seem hell-bent on killing the coal-fired power plant up in San Juan County, the San Juan generation plant that's coal, dirty, and stuff. And, the people who they've contracted out to kind of build and replace that megawatt capacity that needs to be replaced before the end of the year, before the end of the spring, at least. And they need 900 plus megawatts. None of the capacity they're going to need to take the place of that power plant will be online anytime soon. And they're still going to do it. We're just going to shut it down still. It's like it's almost like it's purposeful. You're going to hurt northwestern New Mexico. You're going to hurt them.
I think you hit it right on the head right there. It is purposeful. Wow. It's just, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this we have to continue to witness and see and understand before we recognize what this is, and it's an attack on this country. 100%. That's what's going on. It's playing out exactly like it should.
Right.
Exactly like these people have said that it would. This is what they're about. And
follow the money.
Yeah, and as somebody who's been, classically, I guess you could say centrist in a lot of ways, I would look at things like the environment and these different, even social issues like abortion, and I'd say, oh, okay, this is still part of the debate. This is fine, right? The environment. And you've seen them creep, and now it's here.
Yeah, they're going to get their Green New Deal whether we want to or not. And the funny thing is, if they want to create hydrogen at scale, or if they want to create energy that is, not, putting these evil carbon emissions into the atmosphere, we have 2 nuclear weapons laboratories in the state of New Mexico, one of which actually did designs for, traveling wave reactors and molten salt reactors here in the state. That's how you create your hydrogen.
Right. And look where the money goes. It's like, you have, when they had the shuttle, or those shuttles that they did, how much state of New Mexico tax money went into that?
We had that number, didn't we, Sean? Wasn't it like
we had $200
million or something? Or
over
the course of like 15 years or something stupid like that?
Yeah, and I made the joke then, but it's not so much of a joke.
A or B, trying to indoctrinate and or, I don't know, brainwash our children, then you wouldn't have a bunch of evil. And if you just would have kept your cool during the lockdowns, or at the very least relented a little bit and let the kids go back into the classroom, hence you didn't, because they were so hell-bent on not letting the kids go back into the classroom, which led parents to have to sit at home and actually listen to the crap that you're teaching them.
On talking before I got on about how we're being censored. This censorship has gone out of control, out of hand. And like I said, I go from 30 days to 45 days for things that were said even a year from ago. And it's like, as soon as they see that you're posting maybe too many these anything that's controversial,
non-regime approved is what we
it triggers